Vodka and nesting dolls on the streets are what most people think of when Russia comes to mind. But there are many more interesting facts about Russia that might challenge the more obvious associations. Keep on watching this video to find out all about Russia before you book your ticket. Hey guys, welcome back to World Explained, the channel where we take you on a journey around the world and talk about their fascinating stories. In today's video, we will talk about the beautiful country of Russia. But before we begin, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications by hitting the bell so you never miss any of our uploads. Now with the intro out of the way, let's get into our topic for today. Russia is, quite frankly, enormous. It spans two continents, Europe and Asia, and it also has a surface area of 17.13 million square kilometers. That makes it even more significant than the famous ex-planet Pluto. At just 16.7 million square kilometers, 1/5 of the world's trees are in Russia. That's 643 billion trees, the most that any country has. About 4 to 5% of the country is covered by trees, mainly in Russia's boreal forest or taiga. These thick forest regions were once completely under glaciers and are now home to many brave species, including the Siberian tiger, wild boars, eagles, and owls. Unfortunately, these forests face threats from deforestation and forest fires, so organizations like the WWF and Greenpeace do their best to protect them. In Siberia, you'll find Lake Baikal. The lake is the deepest in the world, but it also holds around 20% of the world's freshwater. Being in this chilly part of Russia, the lake regularly freezes during the winter. However, be sure you have the correct permits and go with an experienced guide. Read more about the rules of the road and driving in Russia. Despite spending much of the 20th century ideologically opposed, Russia and the United States are separated by just 4 kilometers of water. Indeed, in the middle of the Bering Strait are two islands, Little Dion and Big Dion. Little Dion belongs to the US, while Big Dion belongs to Russia. The islands straddle the international date line, which means Big Dion is almost a day ahead. Also, according to World Health Organization statistics, despite Russia's association with vodka, other countries drink far more. Moreover, recent data suggests that Russians drink less than they used to. Indeed, the country ranks 33rd worldwide for liters of alcohol consumed per person. That's less than many European neighbors, such as Germany, France, and the UK. Russia ranks 5th in the world for the amount of tea consumed per person. The drink first reached Russia in the 17th century, but it cost 10 times more than in Europe, as it took a year to deliver it from Moscow to Berlin. Nowadays, tea is far more accessible, and if you visit friends in Russia, they'll usually serve you tea accompanied by biscuits. Also, don't be surprised if your host offers you honey or jam to sweeten your tea, and it's delicious. Moreover, there are a lot of languages in Russia. Of course, the most popular one is Russian. However, according to the Ministry of Science and Higher Education, the Russian population speaks at least 270 languages and dialects. Whether or not that figure is accurate, there are undoubtedly many languages spoken in Russia. These include major foreign languages such as German and English, and languages native to Russia, such as Tatar, Chuvash, Karelian, and Chechen. There are also several endangered languages, such as Vodic and Gadogri. If you love literature, you probably know that Russia is home to some of the best and most esteemed writers. A few great Russian authors include Alexander Pushkin, Alexander Solzhenitsyn, Ivan Turgenev, and Vladimir Nabokov. The famous Russian authors you may also know are Fyodor Dostoevsky, Leo Tolstoy, and Anton Chekhov. Many famous literary writers have a museum dedicated to them to visit in Russia. Most can be found in Moscow and St. Petersburg. Whether you are a big fan of their work or you don't know who they are, you can learn something new about them and Russian literature by visiting their museums. If you live in the EU, you've probably used electricity from a Russian pipeline. Russia provides 27% of the EU's crude oil imports, 41% of its natural gas, and 47% of its solid fuel, such as coal. Indeed, as the world's third largest oil producer, Russia has yet to make renewable energy an absolute priority. Another one of the most surprising facts about Russia is that it has 12 active volcanoes. Kamchatka is one of the most commonly visited among those volcanoes due to its accessible location. If you are someone that loves nature and beautiful landscapes, you should visit Kamchatka. This active volcano has over 1,000 different species of plants. It's also home to brown bears, sheep, and wolves. You can choose to visit Kamchatka on your own or go on a guided tour. If you are unfamiliar with the Russian language, an organized tour is the easier option. Russia's multi-ethnic history is violent, confusing, and redolent with invasions, countermeasures, great leaders, and equally powerful monsters such as Ivan the Terrible and Stalin. Until recently on the world timeline, the vast country was predominantly agricultural or deserted, with the height of the Industrial Revolution clashing with the stirrings of revolutionary sentiment that resulted in the massive upheavals of the 20th century. A region populated mainly by nomadic tribes until the 7th century, Russia became formally settled with the migration of Slavic tribes, first to Western Russia and later peacefully assimilating with the Finno-Ugric people. By the 10th and 11th centuries, Viking invaders had settled, and the Kievan Rus state was one of the wealthiest in northern Europe. Vladimir the Great and his son Yaroslav the Wise ruled successively over the Golden Age of Kiev and oversaw the beginning of Russian Orthodox Christianity in the land. By the 12th century, the Golden Age was fading, with the final blow for Kievan Rus being the invasion of Genghis Khan's Golden Hordes, who ruled central and southern Russia as part of the Great Mongol Empire for more than 200 years. The successor state to Kievan Rus was the Grand Duchy of Moscow, which made its move to the south-central region in the early 14th century, unifying and expanding the territory. The first Russian Tsar, Ivan the Terrible, was crowned in 1547 and conquered the Tatar lands and much of Siberia, setting the stage for Russia as it is today. After centuries of conflict, Imperial Russia came into being in 1721 under Tsar Peter the Great, with his western outreach and innovation carried on by Tsaritsa Catherine the Great in 1762. By the late 19th century, the socialist revolution seemed inevitable, leading to the murder of the last Russian Tsar and all his family in 1917. After the October Revolution led by Lenin, the world's first socialist state was created, although the civil war between the red and white factions led to the Stalin years and the Great Purge, one of the bloodiest periods in Russia's history. During World War II, Hitler's forces took on Russia's land, armies, and harsh winter weather, sustaining major defeats in Moscow, Stalingrad, and Leningrad. The Soviet Army ousted the Japanese forces in Manchuria and entered Berlin in May 1945. Subsequently, Eastern Europe was ceded to Russia, and the Cold War began after they acquired nuclear weapons. The Khrushchev thaw, under President Nikita Khrushchev, launched the de-Stalinization of Russia, and with a brief hiccup over Cuba, successfully eased the tension between the two world superpowers, a process completed by President Mikhail Gorbachev and his glasnost and perestroika policies. With the fall of the Berlin Wall and the reunification of Germany, the USSR was fully dissolved, and its satellite states became independent. Today, the culture of Russia is hard to define due to its massive size and plethora of ethnicities. However, common traits include family loyalty and dependency, immense pride in the land and its traditions, and endurance. The collective spirit developed by centuries of living in small agricultural communities and during the Soviet era is strong, as is the determination of the Russian people to better their lives by any means possible. Russians love music, the arts, literature, philosophy, theater, and eating and drinking, and they could be described as quintessential party people. Highly talented in cultural pursuits, they are also very superstitious, with long lists of rituals based on folklore and magical beliefs still a part of everyday life. Russian folk songs and dances are part of most celebrations, and traditional instruments, such as the balalaika and gypsy guitar, are still popular today. Russia might not seem like an obvious destination for an expat. Indeed, there are many challenges, from the harsh weather to the often tense political climate. However, many expats in Russia experience unrivaled warmth and hospitality from the people living there, especially when learning Russian. Within a few months of arriving, you'll probably have made friends who will show you around your new city and invite you for tea and toast at their birthday parties. Well, guys, that's all we have for you today. Did you know about the history of Russia? Get involved and let us know in the comments section down below. What do you think about today's video? If you liked this video and found it informative, then be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Also, if you don't want to miss out on any new future videos like these, then be sure to click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification under this video so that you're notified the next time we upload a new video. Thanks for watching, guys. We hope you have a great day today, and we'll see you in the next video.